Flying through the trees, swimming through the sea. We're having some fun, we're taking the plunge.
A big thank you goes out to the maker of that intro. His name is Stephen Maribohok. He is a musician from San Diego, and he is actually my travel partner. And we've done a lot of traveling together. So my name is Jessica Ruxton. I am a communication, media, and film student at the University of Windsor in the lovely Windsor, Ontario. And I am so excited to embark on this journey of creating my very own travel podcast. I am so excited to clue my listeners in on my different travel tips and tricks that I've learned along the way of my travel adventures. I have done a lot of traveling personally. I've done a lot of traveling on my own with friends, and hopefully this podcast will inspire those who are wanting to get out and travel. Maybe you've done a lot of research online, or you see your friends or your classmates or your family members or your siblings doing some travel, and you're thinking, I would love to do that. Well, why the heck not? Hopefully you will listen to this podcast and it will inspire you to get out there and travel. And if you're thinking, oh, it's so expensive to travel, or I don't have any money, no worries, because I don't have any money either. I'm a student. But keep listening to this podcast. I will tell you some great tips on how to save money while traveling, and also how to travel for free. It is possible. I've done it. So look out for episode number 2 of this podcast, where I will talk more about that. For this particular podcast, I will give more of an introductory to travel. Although the podcast is called Taking the Plunge, we're just going to dip our toe in, test the temperature a little bit, and we will talk about how to save money while traveling, different tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that I would love to share with you. So whether you are going on vacation or you are looking to move to a new location for a little bit, I have some great travel tips. So let's get started on that. I'm first going to talk about some great ways to save money while traveling, how to get from point A to point B. A lot of people will think to do airlines, which is great if you're traveling across the country, or you want to save time, or you've got some air miles saved up. But if you are traveling a short distance and you don't have a car, you don't have the luxury of having a car and going, or if you don't like driving long distances, a great way to travel is by bus. It's not the most comfortable, I will admit, but it is very cheap. I have went from Detroit, Michigan to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on $8 round trip. This wonderful company that I used is called Megabus. I highly recommend them just because they are so cheap, and they don't charge you for bags, which is great. So if you're an overpacker like me, unfortunately, you can just shove your big bag under the bus and then climb on. It's actually great too if you're traveling with a group to go on the Megabus, because they have tables. So I have taken the Megabus with friends, and we brought a deck of cards, and we just sat at the table and we chatted and we played some cards, and 6 hours went by like that. If you're traveling on your own, it's great too. You can just put in some headphones or fall asleep or watch a movie. Just load some movies on your laptop, because they do have outlets. And no, I'm not being paid for this advertisement of Megabus. I just think that they're great and cheap. It's just a great way to travel short distances on very, very little money. But you will have to check out where they travel to and from, because it's limited. If you are looking to travel with an airport or going on an airplane, I do have some great tips for you. So if you are looking to travel for maybe a week or 2 weeks, I would suggest not leaving on a weekend because a lot of people leave on the weekend and flight prices go way up. So if it is possible, the cheapest day to travel while flying is on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So if you can fly out on a Wednesday, fly back in on a Wednesday, you will get your cheapest airfare that way. So while most people are traveling on a weekend and the prices go up, most people are also booking travel on the weekend. And airlines are so sneaky and they will up their prices if you are looking at them on the weekend. So there actually is a cheap day to buy tickets, quite like the movie theaters are cheapest on Tuesdays. Airfares are cheapest on Tuesdays. So if you are looking to book travel, you're with a group or you're booking for a lot of people, have them wait until a Tuesday to book that flight because you will save money. This has happened to me. I was looking at airline tickets on a Friday and they were somewhere around $250. I waited a couple days, checked on a Tuesday, and they were about $218. So you will save money depending on which day that you book your tickets. It is also important to book early. A lot of people think that if you wait to the last minute, you get cheap airline tickets, and that's just typically not the case. I know there are some websites out there, like lastminutetickets.com and stuff like that, but it's so slim. You are more than likely to pay double the price if you wait to the last minute to buy your airline tickets. There's actually a sweet spot. If you're traveling domestic, the sweet spot is about 54 days before departure. You'll want to book that ticket. Now, that's just in general. I'm not saying to set an alarm on your phone and 54 days before the day I want to leave, I have to book my ticket today. If you book it, earlier than that, a little bit later than that, you will be fine. But for international travel, you will want to book a little bit earlier than 54 days before you leave. Typically about 100 days, even more than that, is what I would recommend for international travel. Those prices are much higher, obviously, than domestic. And though the domestic will fluctuate between days a few dollars here and there, domestic will fluctuate a few $100s. So I definitely recommend do not wait to the last minute for international tickets because you will pay an arm and a leg. When you are booking your airline tickets, to ensure that these sneaky airlines do not up their prices on you unnecessarily, there is a feature on most internet browsers. I know definitely on Google Chrome because that is what I use. There is a feature if you go up to File, you can choose Browse in Incognito mode. And now what that does is it does not have your previous browsing history or any saved cookies. So if you use your typical internet browser without incognito mode, your internet browser will save your previous browsing history and your cookies, and airline websites will look into that and they will estimate where you are flying to and from and on what day, and they will up their prices on you. So I highly suggest using incognito mode so that these airlines don't know that you've been searching around for, the cheap prices, or they don't know which day you're looking to fly, and the prices will not change for you. So highly, highly recommend if you are booking airline tickets on the internet to use incognito mode so that the sneaky airline websites cannot see your browsing history and will not unnecessarily up those airline prices for you because, they're already so expensive, right? So I do recommend sticking with one airline if you can. If you travel a lot, if you find yourself flying a lot, try to stick with one airline and give your loyalty to them because they will reward you. If you stick with a certain airline, you can actually rack up what are called reward points or frequent flyer points. Every airline has a different name for it, but it's generally the same idea. Depending on the number of miles that you travel or kilometers that you travel, the airline will give you points. And if you save up enough points, you'll get free travel, or you'll get free hotels or rental cars. Or anybody who is affiliated with that airline, they want to reward you for your loyalty. And so that is a great way to eventually travel for free and to get perks as well. With enough points, you can get into, high mile clubs, or they will put you in first class for free. And it's just a great way. If you give your loyalty to an airline, they will reward you back. I suggest also packing light. I know your mother tells you this all the time, but it will save you money. The only airline that I can think of off the top of my head that does not charge for bags is Southwest. Every other airline will charge you to check a bag. So if it is bigger than a carry-on size, you have to check it. And the lowest price to check a bag is typically $25. So that's $25 that you don't even have to spend. You can put towards something you actually want. And in case you didn't know, you can bring food through airport security. I feel like a lot of people don't know this. Of course, you cannot bring liquids. Don't try to bring a water bottle or soup, but you can make a sandwich or a bag of chips. You can bring snacks through airport security, and it will save you a lot of money on the other side. I'm talking from experience. I have spent that $9 on the nasty airport sandwich, and it's very, very depressing. And so while we're on the topic of food, here are some quick tips on how you can save money on food. Go out for lunch and not for dinner. When I went to Las Vegas, one of my bucket list items was to eat at a Las Vegas buffet. And in case you don't know, they are very expensive. But I went to a lunch buffet rather than a dinner buffet, and I saved myself $11. And I was practically eating all of the dinner food and some of the leftover breakfast food, and it was great. So if you are looking to eat out while you are away, have a big lunch rather than dinner. You will save money. Lunch items are just a lot cheaper than dinner. And if you can, cook for yourself. Eating out every single meal really, really adds up. So while I was traveling in Maui, one of my top things that I didn't want to do was spend a lot of money on food. I wanted to spend more money on experiences. And so I looked into staying at what is called an Airbnb. And this is when people offer up their homes or their apartments for people to rent from them and to stay there instead of in a hotel. It's generally cheaper, actually, if you are with a group or even just two people. So yeah, when I was in Maui, I stayed in an Airbnb with my friends, and we cooked almost every single meal, and we actually saved a lot of money that way. And staying in this person's apartment was great because there was only one bedroom, which we did on purpose so that we could save money because it had a pull-out couch. And so, we just rotated. Some people would sleep on the bed, some people would sleep on the pull-out couch, and we would just rotate that way just to make it fair. But for one night in that place, it was about $130, which we split between 6 people. And so that was great, and a great way to experience Maui on a budget. So if you do like staying in hotels, that is a luxury that some people just do not want to skimp on. So go for it, stay in a hotel. But if you are looking to save money, I don't recommend staying in a hotel. They're typically the most expensive accommodation. A great tip if you're traveling by yourself is to stay in a hostel or to couch surf. And both of these ways are great ways to meet fellow travelers and to meet friends. If you are in a city that you've never been to and you're by yourself, a hostel is a great way to meet friends and explore the city with these new friends. If you've never heard of couch surfing before, it is a hospitality exchange, and so locals offer up their couch or their air mattress or their guest room to travelers in hopes to receive the same hospitality in return. So when you do couch surf, you are staying with fellow travelers, and I'm sure they're more than happy to either show you the city or give you, cool little secret spots to check out. But if you are hell-bent on staying in a hotel, I do have a tip for you. I recommend staying outside of the main city. stay in the next town over, and it could save you money as long as you don't mind the commute. While I was living in San Diego, my parents came to visit, and San Diego is an expensive city, so I set them up with a hotel that was about 15 minutes outside of San Diego, and they were already renting a car, so it worked out perfectly for them. They saved a lot of money by staying just outside of San Diego, and they were able to still enjoy the city. Well, I hope these tips and tricks have been at least a little bit useful, and I hope it gets you excited for episode 2, where we will finally be taking that plunge and learning how to travel for free and getting insight into the general experience of travel and insight into the culture of simply moving about. I am Jessica Ruxton, and I hope you tune in next time to Taking the Plunge.